are unique by design. Designed to be you. Renewed. Be Earth You. A lifestyle brand that promotes living authentic. Redesign your mind. And remember that there is only one you. Live authentically. Be Earth You. Visit www.beearthyou.com where everything happens for a reason and all things are working in your favor. Welcome, everyone. It is your girl, Chris, aka Smart Video Girl, and it is Thursday. So you know what time it is. The work is you. It is the work is you Thursday, and I am so happy and excited to be here today because I have a great, fabulous workshop for you guys today. I know I say the same thing every time. I know I do, but I'm telling the truth. I mean, you can't deny it. I'm telling the truth. So, what I want you to do, because I'm super excited that you all are here, I'm excited for everyone who was tuned into the live. I'm also excited for everyone who's going to catch this on the replay. All right. But I want you to do me a favor and I want you to like this and share it with a friend because I'm telling you, it's going to bless somebody's life today. Okay. It's going to be an aha. We're going to have some ahas today. So make sure you also have pen and paper because, I'm about to take you to Earth School today. All right. Today's topic is Be Earth You. All right. Be Earth You. You guys saw the commercial. That is my clothing brand, apparel brand, Be Earth You, which I promote living life authentically, right? And so many times people say, well, what is that, Crystal? What is you talking about? Okay. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Living life authentically, right? So, Be Earth You. Today, we're going to have a great topic. I want to really delve into this, and I'll give you a little backstory. So, my birthday, which just passed on April 22nd, is also Earth Day. Who knew? Who knew how special God made me, right? Okay, so I was born on Earth Day, and when I developed my brand, it came to me an aha moment. God was like, Be Earth You. And I was like, what does that mean, God? And it was really about living your authentic life, being who I created you to be authentically, right? So today's topic is going to be all about Be Earth You. How do we do that? How do we do this? And I have some very interesting things I'm going to share with y'all today. So let me just start off by telling you a little bit more about myself. I started doing internet radio in 2007. So you could say I'm almost like a dinosaur when it comes to this internet radio thing. So I've been doing this for a while. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. Trust and believe that. Okay. And then let's see, I fell in love with telling other people's stories and hearing other people's stories. So that led me to a journey of then wanting to create video for people. And I started Only Greatness Media Production in 2013. I think that's what it says. Yes. And then I've been a contributed author in several anthologies. I'm also in the process of writing my own book. And I am the creator of Be Earth You, which is an apparel brand that inspires people to live authentically. And I am the coach for Do the Work, Keep the Faith, which is a group coaching program. And I have something very special that I'm going to be sharing with you guys a little later. My authenticity statements for those who know me, who've worked with me before, is I am a creative and influential visionary who shows up authentically and empowers others to think and live their best lives. And so that's what I do here every fourth Thursday of the month with the Work Is You Thursday. So that's what we're doing here today. So you guys signed up and came into the right place. I'm just telling you. All right. So today's topic is Be Earthy. I want to get into this because I have a lot of information. I'm super excited. I will say this. Holy Spirit be working. God be working because I'm telling you, I came up with the topic and I was like, okay, so what am I gonna say? I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna say. And literally last night it all came to me, like it downloaded into me. So I have notes. So forgive me if I look at my notes because they really good. And I want to make sure that I give you the goodness. Okay. So be earth you. I want to ask a question. Use the chat. Let's be interactive. I want to hear from you. What is the purpose of life here on earth? What do you see the purpose of life here on earth? If you're in the chat, please tell me what you think the purpose of life here on earth is. I'll give you a second to do that. I'm going to drink some water. What is the purpose of life here on earth? Okay. All right. So, and I'm going to get into this because I really want people to think about this. So, everything has a purpose in life. Everything has a purpose in life. There's nothing here for no reason. Like we all serve a purpose. Miss Popey says to do God's will. Okay. All right. And I definitely agree with that. But what is his will? We each have something that he has assigned us to do, and I definitely believe that. And so Be Earth You really is finding out what that is for you. So I love analogies. If you know me, you know I love plant analogies. You know I just love nature analogies. That's kind of how the Be Earth You just kind of came to me. So, when you think about plants, I'm going to back it up. When you think about plants, their purpose here on life is to grow. On earth. Their purpose is to grow, and then their purpose is to contribute in whatever way to the ecosystem that it is designed to do. Some plants are for eating, some plants are for providing oxygen. Trees help us breathe, help us humans breathe. Some plants help other plants. Some plants protect. Some plants help the bees, to help to carry the other animals and to help them pollinate and things of that sort. So everything really has a purpose when you think about it, right? The purpose for plants is very clear. They know what it is. They grow, and then they contribute into society, into the quote unquote ecosystem, the way that they were designed to do. That's what they do. Same with animals. Okay. Some animals are here to animals are here to protect. Some animals are here to help in nature. Some animal, like there's a food chain when it comes to the animal kingdom. Some animals are meant to be food for other animals. I mean, it is what it is, but they all serve a purpose in perfect design with how our creator has designed it to be. When he created the earth, he said, and it is perfect in every stage of it. He created at each stage, when he created the animals, when he created the plants, he said it is perfect. They were created perfect in his design, and they all served their purpose. Okay. All right. So when it comes to humans now, because we are also part of this ecosystem here, we are also part of the earth. What is our purpose, right? What is our purpose? And our purpose, much like the animals and the plants, is to grow and then to contribute to the ecosystem or to the world in the way in which we were designed. Okay? Can I get an amen? God created each one of us with skills, talents, abilities, even, and whether you think it is or not, you have something to contribute to society. Okay. Now, we know that there is nothing perfect. Nobody is perfect. So even in your contribution, if you don't see it as something that you see worthy to be contribute to society, trust and believe me, It is. Even if your contribution is to be a knucklehead, trust and believe me, somebody's purpose is to be a knucklehead because it helps the next person who's on a journey, who's on an assignment here to learn and grow. Like, that is your purpose. So we all are here to grow and contribute. Life is a growth centric experience. Okay. It is not to be happy, much to many people. I'm sorry. If you believe that life is you're meant to be happy, think again. It's not about being happy, okay? It's not about being popular, it's not being about being wealthy. It is about growing, okay, into who you are meant to be and then contributing in that unique, special way that God has created you to be, okay? So, again, we all have a purpose, even the plants, even the animals, you know. I talked about that. The plants, they grow, they contribute. The animals, they grow, they contribute. And us humans, we grow, but do we contribute? Let's talk about that. Are we contributing in the way, or are we like consumers? Like, are we just thinking that the plants and animals are here for us? Like, what are we doing as humans? Okay. So, the interesting thing about us humans in the design, right, is that we have this special power called choice. God gave us the ability to choose, which is unique because animals and plants do not get the choice. A tree cannot say, "Hey, I don't like to be this thick. Okay, I don't want to have all this rough bark. I want to be a rose." A tree does not get to choose what it is going to do. It doesn't get to choose how it contributes. It doesn't say, "Well, you know what? I'm not going to grow this year. I'm not going to produce no acorns for the squirrels to bury." A tree doesn't get to do that. There is no choice in being a tree. You don't get that. You know, a butterfly does not get to choose to skip over the caterpillar and cocoon stage. They don't get to do that. They don't get to say, "You know what? I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it." It's part of the process, it's part of nature's law. It's part of how what their divine uh cycle is. That's what it is. They have no choice in it. But as humans, right? Us humans, us wonderful, beautiful humans, we have something called choice. We also have a mind and feelings. So when we combine those things, our mind, our feelings, and the ability to make choices, you have humans, okay? And us humans are very special. We are very, very special. And when it comes to that, we have to learn, okay? We have the ability to learn. And that's really what Be Earth U is today. So today I'm introducing you to Be Earth University, aka Earth School, because that's what we in right now. All of us are here in Earth School. You come here on Earth to learn how to grow and contribute and return to your authentic self, your original authentic self. And we're going to talk about that more and what that really means, So, uh, humans, so Be Earth U, okay, Be Earth University, aka Earth School, is where humans go to learn how to return to our original authentic selves. Come on, somebody. Listen, I know you like that, right? I know you like that. And I today am not only your authenticity coach, but I'm your Earth School tutor, okay? I'm your Earth School tutor. So make sure you have your pen and paper. I told you want to have your pen and paper because you're going to learn something today about how we navigate this planet, how we live here on this earth, how we really can grow into who God had intended us to be, how we raise our levels of consciousness, however it is that you want to put it, so that we can return to our original authentic selves. All right. All right. So, authentically you is the being that you were uniquely created to be by the Creator. All right. So, when I say authentically you, I'm not talking about you keeping it real underneath the mask of how you feel and what you think and the choices that you have made. Um, we are I am talking about being who you authentically were created to be, who you were uniquely created to be. It's not keeping up with the Joneses, it's being who you were ultimately created to be. And that's a very interesting concept. It's something that a lot of people don't quite understand because what it means is, you really have to work on you. And again, this is the Work Is You Thursday. So, of course, the topic is you. It's not things, it's not other people, it's you. So, everything that I'm talking about today, make sure that you are able to apply it and look within yourself so that you can understand what it is that I'm coming from. So let me make sure I don't miss anything because I got some really good notes here about us. Okay, so remember that life is to contribute. I did all that. See, I'm good. I remembered. Because I'm telling you, I was up 2 o'clock in the morning writing down the download that God had given me. Okay, so authentically you. Be earth you. When you are living your authentic self, you are learning to operate in your unique self, how you were uniquely created by the creator. Okay. All right. So the four main lessons that we're going to talk about today. There's four things. I usually do three, but four is actually my favorite number. So we're going to go with that. All right. The first one is life is growth centric. And I talked about that already, but I really want to hone in on that. Life is growth centric. Two, pruning is necessary. Okay. Come on with the plant analogies. Come on with the natural analogies. Pruning is necessary. All right. Authentic is connection to source. It's not keeping it real, it's connection to source. All right. And the fourth is nature's law. So those are the four main lessons that we're going to review and I'm talk about today. I'm going to go a little deep into each one. You guys know how I usually do it here. And so let's get right into it. The first one is growth. Okay, life is growth centric. The work is you. So the brain and the heart are organs in the body, but the thoughts and the feelings are the greatest functions of these two. Think about that for a second. The brain and the heart are organs in our body, but our thoughts and our feelings are the greatest functions of these two. And most times people do not think about that. We do not think about our bodies in the sense of especially when we're thinking about our organs and we're thinking about our brains and our hearts. A lot of times people think that those are muscles first and foremost, but they're both organs. Neither one of them are muscles. But you hear people talk about working your brain muscle and pumping your heart. You would think that the heart would be a muscle because it is actively pumping blood as a life source through us, right? But the heart and the mind, the heart and the brain, um, are the two things that we have to get aligned when it comes to our mind and our thoughts and our feelings and our heart. We have to get mind and heart aligned, all right? And part of growth, and they say growth centric, is raising your levels of consciousness, raising and understanding how you are thinking and feeling. And I say this a lot of times, and one of my favorite analogies I'm going to bring up in this particular session is the gym analogy. So if you are working out, right, the work is you. We're talking about a growth centric. If you are looking to grow, okay, you have to, if you're working to build your muscles in your body, you're going to go to the gym and you're going to work out. You're going to work out and it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. It's going to be a little painful. You're going to learn some things that you should do, some things you shouldn't do. And you're going to continuously go in because your goal is to get bigger muscles, right? The same thing is happening with what our thought process is and how we process our feelings. We have to grow in that. We can't stay immature in how we deal with things. So we have to learn how to grow. We have to learn how to think. And it's not just working your muscles and doing puzzles and things of that sort. It's almost like a uh, stepping outside of yourself and monitoring how you're thinking. Okay. How can you grow in your thinking? How can you evolve in your thought process? How can you look at the things and evaluate them and see where your thought process may be a little weak? Okay. You I did check your butt, which was that the last one? I think it was. Check your butt. That we were talking about having a flat butt, right? That's a very weak mindset. But if you get in there and you start to work out how you use butt in your life, or you use, then you can start to get a nice round juicy booty, right? A nice round butt. Your butt is something that helps to elevate your life. It helps to move you forward. It helps to bring about faith. It helps to promote your faith. It helps to bring things into your life that you are actually looking to do. So being mindful and growing in how you think and growing in how you feel, all right? Because some of us are very immature. I'm just going to say we're very immature in our feelings. We don't want to do it, right? I don't want to do it. I don't feel like doing it. That's a very, very childish way of dealing with your feelings. It is a complete neglect of your feelings because you're acknowledging that you don't want to do it, but you're not examining why you don't want to do it. And that is something that is very important um, in life. So Earth School is going to continue to challenge you, right? We're talking about being in Earth School and life being a growth centric experience. When you are in Earth School, just like regular school, you're going to go through the stages. You're going to start at kindergarten and you're going to go through kindergarten. You're going to pass these tests. And if you pass the test, then you're going to go on to the next grade, right? The same thing with life. Life is going to take you through changes. Life is going to take you through challenges. There's going to be different stages in your life. And as you continue to go through the stages in life, you're going to continue to run into different obstacles. And some of them will be based on what you've already learned, right? And the goal is to grow in those experiences so that you can continue to pass the test, so that you can continue to get closer. Because the goal really is to get closer to who you are authentically, get closer to who you were meant to be. And really, in times we get so far removed from that through life experiences, through traumas, through so many different things. But really, we have to grow through those things. You don't want to be stuck in kindergarten. You do not think about it like this. If you were in school, because nobody wants to flunk, right? Who wants to be, nobody wants to be the 22-year-old who hasn't graduated. You don't want to be the 22-year-old senior. You don't want to be the 10-year-old kindergartner. Okay. So it's the same thing. We apply that to school, but it's the same thing in life. You don't want to be mentally and emotionally immature in your life because you don't want to deal or you refuse to think and use. And I'm not even talking about logical thinking. This is really about being mindful of your thoughts. Okay. Um, Being mindful of your thoughts. You don't want to be the person who refuses to really be mindful of how they're showing up. Some people, I don't care. Like someone who says that, I don't care. You need to kind of you want to help them, but don't let them seep into you. But if someone who is saying I don't care, they have totally given up on Earth School. They have totally given up on the growth of themselves. They don't want to see themselves do better. And I've been there before. We've all been there before. It gets hard. You don't want to do the work that is you. You don't want to deal with the things that you've been through. So I'm going to, because I can go on and on and on and on about this particular lesson. But the fact of the matter is, the work is you. And the two main things that you need to work on when it comes to you is how you are thinking, what is going on in your mind. Be mindful of your thoughts, right? And be mindful of your feelings. These two things, get your heart and your mind aligned. And that is the most essential growth centric things you can do, because naturally, and this is how I'll wrap it up, naturally you're going to grow. A baby comes into, as babies, we weren't born big like this. We weren't born big like this. We were born babies, and naturally we grew. There was nothing that had to tell us to grow. But those things, again, God privileged us, right, with our mind, our feelings, and choices. So now we have to be mindful of our thoughts, pay attention to our feelings, and then make smart choices in how we choose to grow emotionally and mentally in those ways. Physically, it's already taken care of. I mean, it is what it is. We like the plants and the animals when it comes to that. All right. So your thoughts, here we go. Your thoughts are the seeds that grow into habits that blossom into results. Okay. And that is the growth in you. That is a smart video girl quote. So write it down, share it with a friend. All right. Your thoughts are the seeds that grow into habits that blossom into results. Okay. What you think about, you will do. And as you do those things, whatever that is, do or do not do, will blossom into results. And, you know, we're not judging what the results are, and we're not judging what the thoughts are, and we're not judging the habits. It's just an equation, just like 1 + 1 is 2. Thoughts grow into habits, blossom into results. It is what it is. All right. All right. Number 2, pruning. Pruning. So now, in the first lesson, we were mindful, right? We were talking about being mindful of our thoughts and our feelings. This one is pruning. So pruning in horticulture, when you talk about plants and helping things grow, this is the removal or reduction of parts of the plants, a tree, or vine that are not required for growth or production, are no longer visibly pleasing, or are in injurious to the health or development of the plant. Okay. So when it comes to humans, this is where trauma is. We have to learn how to prune our trauma. So a lot of us are not pruning. We're just coping. A lot of us are still allowing our traumatic experiences to hinder us from growing healthily, right? These are parts of us that no longer are productive. They may not be visible, right? They may not be visible or visibly appealing, right? Visually appealing to us. And we hold them in. And this is where shame comes in. This is where we're ashamed, right? We're ashamed and no one else can see the shame. We're afraid and no one else can see the fear. And these things are parts of us that hinder our growth. They are not productive, and they cause injury to the growth, right? Which is the key, growth and development. These are the types of things that get into our mind and affect our feelings. All right. So you're understanding now the process, like very much like a plant. Okay. If you have not dealt with the areas in your life where you may have suffered traumatically, okay? And that can be physical or emotional trauma, because if you're talking even physically, if you hurt yourself and it was very traumatic, it may cause you to think that when you do certain things, you may injure yourself again. If you have been emotionally traumatized, you will not move forward in things because you're afraid, you're scared, you're ashamed, whatever the case may be, and it will hinder your growth. It'll almost keep you stuck where you are. It will not allow for the beautiful flower that you are to bloom. It will not allow you to be who you authentically are, because part of you doesn't even really know who you are, because you haven't allowed yourself to heal and remove, quote unquote, prune those things that are not of you. Okay. This is very, 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 very important, because a lot of us don't take the time to prune. We may just, and there's a difference. And when I was looking this up, there's a difference. It's a method called pruning, and then there's something called um, shredding, right? And shredding is just where you just kind of cut everything off, right? And a lot of us do that as well, right? We just cut everything off, right? That is where I see us coping, right? We cope. So to cope, we just cut everything off. We just cut everybody off. We just don't do nothing, and just kind of almost start all over again, thinking that that is what's going to help us. But in essence, we've gotten rid of some of the key things that make us who we are, and that's very important. So it's not about just removing everything. It's about really healing those parts of you that are damaged, holding on to those good parts of you, examining those who you truly are, because when you shred, you almost remove all of you. You start all over. You start to operate in what's going to make you feel better. It's almost a coping mechanism. So that's when we start to do things, like we need other people to make us feel good. We need things, and we adopt habits that are not healthy for us, because we're coping with the fact that we haven't healed what is necessary for us to really truly grow. Okay, if that makes sense to anyone, if you're understanding what I'm saying, please let me know. I definitely would appreciate that. And I hope that you're taking notes, because that one for me was very, very, very beneficial, because so many of us just shred the whole thing. We just cut it all down, and then start all over. And in the starting all over, we've gotten rid of the fruit. We've gotten rid of the good stuff. So we may not grow back the way that we were originally meant to grow, because we did away with the whole thing. So it's very important to prune only those parts of you that are not required for growth or production, are no longer visually appealing or pleasing, or hinder the health and development of the plant. Okay? All right. Don't get rid of all of you just because you have been traumatized emotionally. Don't throw your whole self away. You are not your trauma. And that's the other thing. You are not your trauma. So if you cut everything off, if you just shred you, then you have lost the essence of who you are. You are not your trauma. You heal your trauma. You prune your trauma. All right. And then you allow yourself to continue forward. All right. All right. So that is that. So we have learned how to cope. We have to learn how to heal. That is, again, another Smart Video Girl quote. Um, we have learned how to cope. So many of us are coping through life. We are just dealing with it. It's become part of who we are. And so now we're growing with this trauma attached to us, instead of pruning the trauma, right? Not getting rid of the whole thing, but pruning the trauma and healing, so that we can continue to grow. Y'all let's continue to grow into the beautiful humans that we were designed to be. All right. All right. Number three. Number three. Who's ready for number three? Number three is authenticity. Authenticity. Now, y'all know that's my word. I'm your authenticity coach. Okay. I have my apparel brand. Uh, encourages you to live your authentic life. And really, this being authentic for me has been knowing and understanding who my source is and where I come from, and then my journey to get there. All right. So authenticity, original source. It is not keeping it real when you don't deal with you. So we're not talking about real. We're not talking about, oh, I'm keeping it real 100. Like, I don't know what that means. Um, so that's not authenticity. That's not authentic. But we are, and the other thing to keep in mind is we are made in the image of our creator. We are made in the image of our creator. Okay. Whew, this is the part. We were made in the image of our creator. So if we are returning to source, we are returning to who, to who? Original source. Call him God, universe, Father. I don't want. I want the message to be heard. I want there to be an understanding that this life process here on Earth, this Earth school that we have journeyed to, like Miss Poe B said, is to do God's will, and part of God's will is for us to return to Him, to return to Source, right? And there's so many different things about that. So if you are when people talk about levels of consciousness, and the highest level of consciousness is unconditional love, self-awareness, right? If you have gotten to that, that is what God stands for, unconditional love, right? There is a true connection when you can learn to love unconditionally. All right. There is a true there is a true connection when you understand self-awareness in the sense of, we're not talking about ego based, because when not keeping it real, so keeping it real is ego based. That's the ego based. Self-awareness in the fact of knowing that you are connected to a greater source, knowing that yourself, your being, who you are, is directly connected to a higher source. That is true self awareness. Awareness of your being and who you are as a human. So it's not about self awareness about, oh, how I look. Oh, it's not self awareness about what I do. It's self awareness again about what your thoughts are, meaning, do I know the truth? Do I know the truth? Do I know what I'm really here for? That level of self awareness. And then self awareness in your feelings. Can I acknowledge and understand and process my feelings? Am I aware enough to process my feelings? That is a level of self-awareness that we're talking about. And a lot of times when you include the word self, people start to get real testy, right? Because we almost can't think about ourselves, right? And the problem with that is that self has been attached to ego, because of a lack of understanding. Self has also been attached to ego to keep people removed from really truly knowing themselves and understanding the connection. Okay, I'm getting a little, maybe a little deep for some people to understand, but when you understand that, and I'll get into more of this in the next one, but self is not a bad word. Self, if you are, we don't want to be selfless in the sense that we don't acknowledge ourselves in connection to who we are. If we are to deny ourselves, that means we are to deny the creation that God created. He created us. So who are we not to appreciate ourselves in His image? Who are we to not be able to um, understand and recognize that I am uniquely created in God's image? There's so many ways to skin this cat. Okay. Self is simply a reference to who you are as an individual. This is true. This is true. And that's the other thing. Self has been denoted to this thing of it's like me versus you. And that's not what self is about. If we're not checking in with ourselves, if we're not aware of how we feel, if we're not aware, then we will allow things to intercede. We will allow things to come into our space that are not healthy for us. If we're not aware of ourselves, we will allow things to infiltrate our minds if we're not aware of ourselves. So, self is not a bad word, and I need more people to understand that. And authenticity. So, we'll go back to authenticity. We were made in the image of our creator, and our goal is to get back to original source. Authentic. Okay, if you look up the word authentic, it means original. It means it does not necessarily say real because that's a lot of people get it confused, but it does say original. Okay, so we are all originals. We are all unique. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to leave it there because the next piece of this really is going to bring it home. And so the quote for this is I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. And that is John 15:5. And I chose that particular scripture for authenticity, right? Because we're talking about this is like the perfect example for what I'm talking about. Perfect example. So there's a vine. We are connected to the vine. Each branch is special on its own. Each branch reaches out and touches something on its own. Each branch grows its own fruit. Each branch has its own space. It is individual, yet it is connected to the vine. As soon as you disconnect yourself from the vine, you are nothing. You're unable to produce. Okay? So, authenticity is being unique as the branch, but still being connected to the source. All right? I love that. I love that. So again, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, okay, you will bear much fruit, but apart from me, you can do nothing. Again, you are authentic. You are authentic. Each branch, your branch is very authentic. Your branch is very unique. Your branch is very original. Each branch is original, yet it is connected to the same source. How about that? How about that? Okay. Let's stick with it. Okay. All right. All right. And so the last one is laws of nature, not of man. Okay. Laws of nature, not of man. This will help you in Earth School. They are the laws that matter. Okay. So this one is a little bit, uh, it's a little bit interesting that I'm going to share. So when we're talking about the laws, of course, I'm not talking about man's laws. I'm not talking about walking down the street or jaywalking. We're not talking about jaywalking. We're not talking about breaking the law or robbery. I'm not talking about any of those things. What I'm talking about are the simple principles of life, nature's laws. The greatest of them, the first one is that we are all connected, which is from my last example. We are all connected. We are all one. And one of the biggest things that is, there's several of these laws, and if you work with me, then we can go through them. I'm not going to go through all of them today because it's a lot. But the first law is that we are all connected, and everything is connected. Everything is connected. So when you understand that everything is connected, we start to see each other as fellow humans. We start to see each other as those branches connected to the vine. How about that? If I see a branch next to me, I know that even though I can't see the connection, but I know that that branch and me are both connected to the same vine. We are all connected. It is all connected. Um, we all are created from, there's only one creator. There is only one source. There's everything comes from that, and it is all connected to that source. So when we start to see each other as one, we can start to be empathetic to one another. Hey, Buggy. We can start to see that the next man's problems are maybe similar to mine. We can start to have compassion and empathy and understanding for one another. The biggest, the biggest weapon of the enemy, the biggest weapon of people who want to have control, the biggest weapon of anyone who wants to control anything is to divide and conquer. They want us to believe that we are not all connected. They want us to see the differences in who we are. And the reality is, there is no difference that matters. There is no difference that matters. Do we have different hair colors? Yes. Do we have different skin colors? Yes. Do we have different circumstances? Yes. But guess what? Most of those circumstances are the same. They look different, just like we look different. But at the end of the day, most of the circumstances of the things that we go through are very similar. So we can start to see each other as one. If we can start to understand that we're all connected, then we can start to grow together because we can help one another. When we start to see each other as coming from the same source, then we're more amped to help each other than try to say, well, I got to get this because if I don't get it, they're going to get it. Because another one of the great laws of nature is there is enough. There is no lack. There is enough. There's so much for us to understand. Like, it's so much for us to understand. Earth School is bigger than you think. There is enough. There is no lack. Okay? There is no lack. And another one of the laws I'll share is that your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So when you understand that things are chaotic in your life, right? There's a lot of things going on, there's a lot of confusion and chaos. It is a reflection of what we talked about earlier, what your thoughts and your feelings are. Those thoughts and feelings that you are neglecting, guess what? They are showing up in real life for you because the goal is for you to grow through them. The circumstances in your life are not going to change until you change. The circumstances are not going to change until you take the time to grow on the inside, to be mindful of what you're thinking, to process your feelings. These things are not going to change until you change. What you see on the outside is a reflection of what's going on in the inside. As above, so below. Come on. These are it's like 1 and 1 plus 2. I said it again. When you change, and I was just talking about this, when you change your inner world, it's not necessarily either, let me be clear, that the outer circumstances change. What changes is you. What changes is how you perceive these circumstances. What changes is how you feel about them, how you let them affect you. It's not the circumstance. But the reality is too, you start to see it different. So therefore it is different. Because what perception is reality? Listen, we can go on it. I can go on and on and on. I told you to get your notebook. I told you to get your notebook. I told you to get your notebook. So really that is the growth. Again, that's the growth centric. So that is growing. When you can see and notice that your circumstance is not changing, right? And understand that that is something that you have to do. When you grow on the inside, then you will start to see that change on the outside. And that is growth. That is evidence of the growth. That goes back to the thoughts are the seeds, right? And then habits bloom into the results. So they all go together. They all go together. They all go together. The laws of nature, not of man. We have to know what really matters. Okay. One of the things that, because there's three things in the law of man that so many people subscribe to. You have to go to work, right? You got to go to work because you got to work. You got to work because you got to pay your bills, right? And then you gotta spend your money because you gotta keep up with the Joneses, right? And then you gotta and so these are things that are not helpful to us. Like there's so many people who go to work who are miserable, who are depressed, who are alcoholics, who are dealing with trauma. Work does not solve problems. It may pay bills, maybe, but that doesn't equate to you. That's not you. That's not the work, is you. And that's what we're talking about here. Be earth you. How are you operating? How are you getting back to original source? How are you living your best life? How are you connecting to original source? Those other things will come. You will figure out what it is that you're supposed to do. Okay? You will figure out who you are. All those things. Yeah. But yeah, so we are not focused on man's laws. Everybody knows I am all for that. Like you might say I'm rebellious, but the laws I do follow and that I do know are the laws of nature. We are all connected. I start to see myself in my mother and understanding what she has been through because of what I've been through. And not looking at her as somebody who's done something to me, but understanding that she too has been through something as a young woman whose mother. So there's this empathy, there's this understanding that comes, and then there's a growth, and then the compassion, and then now I can lend a helping hand, or words of advice, or just an ear to listen, and not to judge, and not look at it selfishly. Now that's where the selfishness comes in when you're just thinking about me. I'm just thinking about me. But that's not self-awareness. That's just selfishness. Period. All right. You are, you get what you are, not what you want. You get what you are, not what you want. You get what you are, not what you want. And that is one of the laws. There's this one of the laws is the law of attraction that you guys know of. Not necessarily, it's not called the law of attraction. That's what the secret and stuff calls it. But it is where what you think about, you bring about. And it's not the things you don't think about what you want really. You think about who you are because you're thinking about what you're feeling, right? You're thinking about all the things that could go wrong. And that's usually what you get. And that's the problem I have with just a lot of times people teaching things like The Secret is that of the lack of understanding that you get who you are, not what you want. A lot of us are dealing again, we haven't pruned, right? We haven't trimmed the trauma. We haven't healed from the things that are affecting us. So we're growing bad fruit and we're thinking, so we are these things. And so that's what we're getting. We don't get what we want because we're not dealing, right? We're just coping. So we're not dealing with who we are so that we can grow, so we can prune the things that are not healthy for us so that we can in turn grow healthy fruit, which is what we want. So we get who we are, not what we want. So when your thoughts are still troubled, when you try to get on track by just making sure that you're doing things. Again, a lot of times I tell you all the time, the work is you, not things. When you try to get on track and do things thinking that the things are going to make you have what you want, you're still not dealing with who you are. So you still are going to produce those things that you are, not what you want. Again, your inner world, your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. That's it. That's it. That's all they need. So today you guys have been to Earth School. Earth School. I'm your Earth School teacher. All right. I telling you I enjoyed this particular lesson. Those are the four things that we're talking about that we talked about. Um, we had four lessons today that we went through, and those lessons were life is growth centric, pruning is necessary, right? Pruning is necessary, meaning that we're not coping. We're not just coping. We're not just going shred. We're not just going to just throw the whole thing away. We're going to be intentional about healing our traumas. We're going to be intentional about um, getting rid of those limiting thoughts and beliefs that are keeping us in a cycle of things that we don't want, right? Because it really is our limiting beliefs that continue to produce the things that we don't want. So we're going to grow in our mind. We're going to grow in how we're thinking. We're going to grow in how we're able to process our feelings and express our feelings in a very healthy way that allows us to deal with them, and not just throw them all away. And now I'm going to be this numb person. I'm just going to get through life because I'm just trying to grow old. I'm not trying to grow old. I'm not trying to grow old. Who wants to be old? I don't want to be old. My goal is not just to grow old and die. I don't do that. I want to live, I want to live life. Part of my authenticity statement is I empower people to think and live their best lives. I want you to live your best life. Okay. And in order for me to grow into a beautiful, beautiful flower that I am, hello, I have to prune. I have to prune those things that are not going to allow me to do that. I don't want to cut my whole self down and then just start all over just so I no. So pruning is necessary. Authentic is connection to source. Again, I am the vine, you are the branches. You and I and you. You will bear fruit. Apart from me, you do nothing. John 15:5. We are all branches, authentic branches of the same vine who created us all special. And guess what? Each one of those branches produces its own beautiful fruit and flower. That's the authentic part. And we'll continue to be authentic when if we can stay connected to him. Stay connected to source. Yes, stay connected to source. He will give you the nutrients, the word, whatever it is that you need to grow and grow the fruit or flower that it is that you are to produce to be able to contribute to the world. Remember, I talked about it earlier. What's the purpose of life? Plants grow and contribute. Animals grow and contribute. The goal is to grow and contribute back to the ecosystem. And as humans, we have to navigate through our feelings, we have to navigate through our thoughts, and we have to make decisions on how we're going to deal with those things. That's the wonderful part. And the decisions that we make, right, are based on nature's laws. Or do we see each other as connected, or do we see each other as separate? If you decide and if you make a choice to not see that we're all connected, that is a choice. I mean, it can be a one due to lack of knowledge, um, but that is a choice. That is a choice. Then law, nature is going to show you that you are going to be separate. Therefore, you are not going to. It's going to be hard for you both ways. If you choose to think thoughts of negativity, if you choose to hold on to your traumas, if you choose to blame circumstances instead of looking inward to what it is that you can do, then life's going to be hard for you. Life in Earth School will be difficult. So it is very important that we pay attention to those things. All right. I hope you enjoyed your session today. I do want us to this last want to share with you all that I have been doing a group coaching session, but I realized that I want to do some one-on-one work with some people. I want to help people reach their own individual goals in their path to on their journey to authenticity, right? Which is a place where you live your life authentically. And a lot of the times people are stuck, right, in the cycle of frustration, overwhelm. Like life is just lifing. I've heard that so many times. People say life is just lifing. Well, are you living life, or is life living you? So if we want to start to live life, then we have to start to be mindful. We have to start to do the work that is us. If you want to live authentically, if you want to tap into what it is that God has for you uniquely, um, or if you are letting your past hold your future hostage, meaning you're stuck behind your traumas, emotional or physical traumas, then I would love to work with you. Um, I have a coaching program. It's a one-on-one coaching program called The Work Is You. All right. So it's different from my group coaching program because this is individualized. It is for you to work with me one on one. If you would like to have a free consultation, you can send me an email at bookme@smartvideogirl.com. Okay. And I would love to work with you and really help you. Like, I'm really passionate about this work that I do. It makes me very happy. And again, I think this is part of what my life journey has been about, so that I can in turn contribute back in this way and help other people do what I have had a lifetime, a life journey of experiencing. God has truly blessed me, and I can say that now and 100%, even through all of the circumstances that I have been through, to be able to come out on the other side of this journey that I've been on, to understanding what it has been about and understanding what I had to do, the work that I had to do within me, and really what that work looked like, and knowing that everybody's work is going to be different, but there are still some very key elements. And I definitely can help you through those if that is what you want. So, again, you can email me at bookme@smartvideogirl.com. I would love to get an email for you. You can just send me an email just to say, hey, because I love you guys. All right. And just in general, if you want to book me for, inquire about the coaching, if you want to inquire about me speaking, if you want me to host something for you, I'm available. She is available. Your girl's available. You can call me at 240-988-3967 or send me a text message. Probably that's best. And then you can email me again at bookme@smartvideogirl.com. And don't forget to follow me on IG at Smart Video Girl. I'm everywhere. Smart Video Girl. There's only one Smart Video Girl. That's me. I have had a pleasure today. It has been my complete pleasure. I'm so glad that you guys joined in. I hope that you learned something in Earth School today. If you learn something in Earth School today, I want you to just say, "Come on, somebody." Okay. And speaking of "come on, somebody," I just want to give a quick update. I am doing so many different things, as you know or may not know. I I host my podcast Introducing, which comes on every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I introduce you to new people, new things, and new ways of thinking. I also co host with my girl Tanya on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Come on, somebody, on a brand new media production channel, which is New Wine Skins. So make sure you check that out. That has been a whole blessing in itself. Again, God moving in very, very, very in his own way. Listen, I tell you that God moving in his own way, doing his own thing. I have my first documentary project is being released in June. It's called Breaking the Silence, documentary on domestic violence. So I had the opportunity to DP. I also co-host IG Live with Mr. Cortland Jones called Speak Life on IG every second Saturday. So it's just so at 10 a.m. That's at 10 a.m. And there's so many different things that I'm doing. I have a few more speaking engagements coming up, and the book is coming out. There's so many great things, and I really do have to be grateful. I am so grateful for all of it and all of the great things that are happening as a result, really, of me doing the work, if I'm being honest, and really understanding there this journey of man, I'm 42. I just turned 42. Happy birthday to me. I just turned 42, but this journey of growth has been one of me of stopping and starting over. I was doing the shredding, right? I was just shredding and I was like, okay, I'm gonna just start all over. But I really in this last year have been taking the time to prune me, to prune, do the work that is me, getting rid of those things that don't serve me, getting rid of the limiting beliefs, removing the fact. I used to say that I was a procrastinator. I have not said that in I don't know how long. And your girl is not that. I have literally removed that from my thought process. And when you can do that, when you really can take the time to change your mindset, process how you're really feeling, right? You can start to see the gifts. You will start to see the blessings, the overflow, the abundance that God has for you as you were created authentically connected to source. Come on, y'all. We're gonna live authentically. So look, be earth you. Look, I want y'all to see my shirt. See, look at my shirt. Ooh, be earth you. So if you want to get one of these shirts, make sure you visit www.beearthu.com and check out some of the merchandise over there. I'm going to put a commercial one more time before we head out of here. Again, I am Smart Video Girl, a creative, influential visionary who shows up authentically and empowers others to think and live their best lives. Until next Thursday, next fourth Thursday, next month. Um, I will see you. Make sure you tune into everything Smart Video Girl. And if you have any questions, make sure you send me an email at book me at, what is it? smartvideogirl.com. All right. I'll see you guys. And until then, have a great one. Peace.
You are unique by design. Designed to be you. Renewed. Be Earth You. A lifestyle brand that promotes living authentic. Redesign your mind. And remember that there is only one you. Live authentically. Be Earth You. Visit www.beearthyou.com where everything happens for a reason and all things are working in your favor.